Hey everybody, happy Tuesday. Hope you're doing alright. Sorry I missed you last week. Oh, that was a rough day. My daughter's doing a lot better though, so thank you. We're in the ER till about 11 p.m. or so it's like 10 hours there for her to get a bunch of IV fluids and things from being dehydrated. And oh, what a day, what a day. So we're back. I've not gotten your midterms graded yet. I'm really close to it. You guys are the next ones on the list. I'll be doing them tonight, right after class. So for sure, I'll have the midterms done for you. I'm working on getting caught back up to the projects, and it's April. Crap. I'm really sorry. So we'll be working on those. We've got the final project. Project 4, not the final one. Project 4, the last individual project, was due tonight. Working with our file IO here. I actually want to talk about that one next week and have a little bit more time to talk about JavaFX tonight, if that's all right with you folks, to get you another good head start on the final project. So hopefully you saw the videos from the 2151 course working with JavaFX. So we had two different methods. We had working with it in NetBeans and working with it in IntelliJ. It's generally easier in IntelliJ. You can still do it in either, and both will get the job done. And then if you install the plugin, which is like a two-click thing for the Fxml Manager, it works super nice in IntelliJ. So I'll keep using IntelliJ. I'm happy to show you folks the NetBeans process again if you want to see it. I pretty much just go copy-paste that little starter code every time to remember all the steps of what you have to edit, what you have to change, what you need to add, those sorts of things. So we've got tonight, for more JavaFX stuff, we're going to look at how we can use classes in JavaFX. Because that's what we want to do, is we work on this final project. Yeah, and I did post that one a little bit later. Sorry, I didn't have it, didn't know exactly where it was. I had to go find it from last time. So this is a final project I like giving because it has a lot of different components. We use classes, we integrate it in with their UI, and it's, I mean, slightly more interesting than just, doing some sort of nonsense project. If you pretend like it's a game you can play, and you are welcome to tweak any of those rules if you think it would make the game more interesting. So any of that stuff is totally up for grabs as we look at that. So we'll go over the final project again. Excuse me. I think I got it posted in here, right? Yeah, I think I posted it. Yeah, I posted here a bad adventure game here. We'll go over that again and go through the rubrics. You know how you're going to get your points there, and hopefully it'll be interesting. At least a little. Navigate the maze, fight some monsters, do that sort of thing. That all make sense? Questions, thoughts, concerns before we jump into JavaFX again and keep doing more stuff with JavaFX, more than just a little hello world sort of thing? I think we'll be done with labs as well. I don't think we'll do any more labs on JavaFX. Because you're just going to use it in the project, so we'll probably stick to those 8 labs. Unless you want another one, I can do another JavaFX lab if you're interested. Like if you're not really happy with how your lab scores are, but I'll get those ones graded for you. Hopefully those will be, maybe not tonight, but tomorrow. I've got tomorrow afternoon. I can work on those. I didn't even do project 1. I'm so sorry, folks. We had 10 people submit. Okay. So it's gone down a little bit. That's a little concerning. Let me take a quick look here real quick. Oh, come on. Can't type my own password. Type a little slower. It might work. There we go. So let's take a peek here. For winter, we are 33. Okay, so there's 15 people still enrolled. So I would have expected a little bit more there. So I do want to put it out there, and I'll offer this to you folks as well. If you didn't do as well as you had hoped on one of these individual projects here, what I'll usually do at the end of the semester when you present your final projects, I'm going to assume you're going to do well on those. If you get a good score on the final project, I can replace one of the individual project scores with that score. So like if you got 100% on the final project, your lowest scoring project, I can go and just replace your score with 100%. Because essentially, if you can get this one done, then everything else here should be fine. Not too concerned one way or the other there, how we're doing these. It's not going to do any file input and output because it's a little bit difficult for us to read in nicely. When we get to 2151, there's a trick that makes this super easy, but we haven't gotten to it yet, and it's just not, I don't have the time to show you that cool way of saving things. So there won't be any saving, any interacting with files, but essentially all the other things, if you can do the final project, I think you'll be fine with these ones. So I'll put that out there for you folks, if you're interested in that. All right. Cool. So let me fire up IntelliJ. And we'll see if we can't build a little coffee shop here in our JavaFX application. And then we'll see how we can use a class and keep that in the Java controller that we're going to use, and reference all that sort of stuff as we work with it. It should be a lot of fun. Excuse me. So let me go start a new project. Maybe. Maybe. There it is. All right, and let's put this in 1500. Put this in Tuesday night one. We'll call this about JavaFX with classes. How about that? Okay, so the JavaFX project type will set everything else up for us nicely, which is really nice. It's got our project SDK. We're in good shape here. We don't need any of that stuff. We can worry about all that later. And I'll do it in this window. So 2 things we need to change right away. First is we don't need to tell it what size we want to make this view here, because we're going to use the anchor pane, which is sized in Scene Builder. So anchor pane will know how big it is. We don't need to tell it to show a window this large. So I'm going to get rid of that one. And then in my resources here, so I've got my application, I got the controller, and I have the Fxml file. I'm going to go open this one up in Scene Builder. So when you right click on it, you should be able to open in Scene Builder. If you don't have that, and you go to, is it File and Settings, and Tools. Oh my goodness. There's so many different places where they put this. Why am I not remembering here? Is it Project Structure? No. It's got to be Settings. Languages, Java. There we go. So Languages and then JavaFX. So what's File and Settings? Sorry. And JavaFX, you can tell it where Scene Builder is installed if it doesn't know it automatically. Sometimes it's good at picking it up here. But you can go tell it, hey, this is where Scene Builder is installed. So you can open with Scene Builder right away. And then the other thing you're going to want is you go to File and Settings again, and you go to Plugins here, and you find the Fxml Manager. So I've already installed this one. It's a real quick download to install. It gives you the ability to update your controller from the Fxml file, which is way easier than trying to view it and copy paste and edit the stuff in that you need to. So we can update this controller here from the Fxml file. So anything with these @fxml tags will get updated. So I'm going to open this in Scene Builder, and then we're going to edit this. So I don't like the VBox just by itself. It's not as easy for us to use. Now, we could throw anything we want in it. It will kind of expand, but I prefer this anchor pane. I'm going to delete that one, go to anchor pane and drag that in. And then I get a nice anchor pane here, which I can start adding things to. Now, once you've added this, we need to go down to this controller section in the bottom left here and say, hey, go use this controller, please. The hello controller. Okay. And then from here, we can go add in things like our label and our button. Right? We add in a label, we add in a button. Right. And then the label, we need to give a name. So I'm going to, I don't know, we'll say hi there. And then in code, I'll give it a ID, the FX ID. So this is our label. And then the button here, we can change the FX ID if we wanted. Now, we don't really need the FX ID for the button, but it's okay. We'll call it a button. And then the on action will say button clicked. Clicked. And then we can change the text on it to say like click me. Right, so we got lots of options. Now remember, it's not going to show until you click off of that window. Right? So you can change the text. It's not going to show it until you click off. And it'll be there. Make sure you save it. Now back in IntelliJ, we'll see the Fxml here has been updated. We get the anchor pane, and this is where it gets that height. It has a preferred height and a preferred width. So it's 400 by 600. That's the default here. Gives us a little bit more room to work with. And then you can see the controller. It's going to be using this hello controller here from your com example JavaFX with classes, the hello controller. So now I can right click on it and say I can update controller from Fxml, and that will update my controller now. So I see this one is marked as deprecated. This is an old method that used to be used. We don't use it anymore, so I'm going to get rid of it. And then these ones show up in red because they don't have all the imports automatically. I don't know why it doesn't automatically import, but we can just go add those real quick. Import the class. We'll import our stuff here, and now we've got our controller ready to go for some code. So when the button's clicked, we'll take the label, we'll set the text to hello world, and we should be good to go. Right? So we changed the height here, we changed the controller, added the anchor pane, anything else we wanted to add in there. All the other stuff is in here automatically. We extends application, we extends, sure. It gets the loader here, and then we call launch in main, and life is good. We'll say run, and we should get our little hello world Fxml application up and running. So hopefully you got all this working sometime between last week and tonight. Or maybe we're all working on that project and didn't get a chance to look at it yet. But you see now it goes to hello world, but it stays at hello world, so it doesn't look like it does anything, and sure. Okay? So we've got that. Now what we want to do is figure out how we can turn this into a coffee shop, right? Because we want to sell some coffee. So what I'm going to do is I want to have a place for all of my business logic in a class that's separate from my user interface. Right? So I want all of the stuff that calculates coffee and coffee prices and things like that to be separate. And then the UI will just have buttons that then connect to that class and call methods. Because that's how we want to make these things connect here. That way, if I ever change my mind, I could run this again as a console application with the same coffee shop class, right? And then we could run it in a web application if we wanted, or put it in a mobile application. The class itself should be independent from the user interface. You want to keep those separate. So I'm going to come in here, I'm going to make a new class for, we'll say, coffee. So what does coffee have? So coffee probably has a private string for size. Coffee probably has a private double for cost. Coffee probably has a private string for, I think it's a string for milk, maybe. Private string for sugar. Maybe we could just set some of these values here, maybe. Could probably do that sort of thing. Okay. And then we want to add some gets and set methods here. So depending on however we want to use it, I'm going to do a generate, and I'm going to generate, let's do getters for everything first. So we'll do getters for all of these first, and let's add a constructor here. So let's generate a constructor that says, hey, you give me the size and the base cost. We'll have cost here. So you tell me the size and the cost. And then I want a way where you can like add milk and add sugar. And we're going to say like regular milk will be free, but if you want soy milk or you want oat milk or you want, I don't know, whatever else, maybe we'll charge you more money. And then for sugar, sugar will be free. So we won't be changing the price there, but we can, you know, figure out how we're going to be adding sugar. So I don't want a set method necessarily. I want to add some distinct add methods here. And then should be pretty good there. So we got what size it is, what cost it is. Oh, sorry. My shoulder hurts right there. That's really weird. It's all the driving, I think. It's in traffic on the freeway, and I was like, urgh. I hate when the freeway like stops. I was afraid someone's gonna hit me from behind. It's just weird to be stopped on the freeway. Okay, so we can get the size, we can get the cost, we can get the milk, we can get the sugar back out. So how about we have a public void add, how about we'll say this is what, milk, given a string for, we probably don't even need to add anything here. So we'll say our milk equals milk, maybe? Or do you want like some of this to be a little bit more specific, or we got choices here. So adding milk, we'll just set milk. Public void, we'll say add soy milk. We'll say we'll take our cost plus equals 0.5. So 50 cents for soy milk, and then our milk will equal soy milk. You know, I'm not sure actually adding the cost here is going to work really well. Let's do this separately. Let's have a, let me refactor rename this here. Refactor rename, this will be the base cost here. And then, yep, we'll refactor it everywhere. And then let's add a private double for milk cost. And then there is no sugar cost, so we'll be fine here. So I can set milk cost separately then based on what you pick here. So then our constructor should set values for these, right? So our milk should be an empty string, our milk cost should be 0, and our sugar should be an empty string. And then if you want to add milk, we'll say, sure, we'll set the milk to milk. The milk cost is still 0. Maybe we should set the milk cost to 0 too, just in case. So if you change your mind, we'll set it back to 0 here. Soy milk for 50 cents, and then sugar, public void, set sugar. I guess we can just set sugar, given a string for sugar. Okay, if we're just a set method, we can just add it ourselves. So we'll just generate the set method here. We're going to generate a setter for sugar. So you can set the sugar. You tell me what sugar, we'll just add it. We're not going to charge you for it. We'll just give away those sugar packets for free. But we'll start with nothing here to start. Okay, that way we can have this individual coffee here. Our milk cost, we do set milk cost. Why is it gray? It's been set. Oh, we need to be able to get then. So we need a get for milk cost as well. So let's insert a getter or generate a getter for milk cost. There we go. And then let's add another double here for get total cost. We'll return base cost plus the milk cost. Just make that a little easier for someone to get out here. We can get all of those out represented here. And then how about we also add a string, public string. There's a common, this toString method is really common to override. Remember, everything is an object in Java. So there's a toString method in the object class that you can override. So we'll return, we want a, I don't know what, size plus coffee with, I don't know, what kind of milk? I don't know, plus milk plus and plus sugar. It might come out funny if we have nothing, no milk and no sugar. I don't know. How about size coffee, colon, dash, milk, plus milk, and, or another dash and sugar, colon the sugar? Sure, why not? We'll probably add in the cost then, right? So we'll say, should do the cost first or second? Maybe we'll add in like a new line here. Add in a new line and then the total plus a $sign plus total cost, get total cost. How about that? Just for fun. So it's the whatever, large coffee, milk 0, sugar 0, or nothing, right? Get total cost. Should we put that to no milk? You can add milk. You can add soy milk. Should that be a set milk? I don't know if that should be set milk or not. Maybe we could have a set milk option. Or, I don't know, public void set no milk. So you can change your mind here. We'll just set it to empty here. I don't know, we got some options. We got some different ways we can make our methods here. There's no wrong way, for sure. So now we got a coffee. So what we want to do then is we need a way to give you options for these sorts of things in our Fxml application. So I've got a label, I've got a click me button. Let's I don't know, we'll call this buy coffee. Right, so what we want to do is give them options here. So there's checkboxes and there's radio buttons. So radio buttons are for when you have choose one of a different type, so small, medium, or large. You can only pick one of those three. With checkboxes, you can have more than one. So I want to do radio buttons here. I'm going to grab 3 radio buttons and bring these in here. And we'll change the text here. So this will be small, this will be medium, And this one here will be large. Okay, now what you have to do with radio buttons is you need to put them in something called a toggle group. So the toggle group says which ones are grouped together, so only one can be picked at a time. So I'm going to say I want large to be the default because I love coffee. So this is the size toggle group. So I'm going to set all of these to the size toggle group here. Okay, so you have small, medium, and large here. I'm going to move this one down here, and maybe we'll put this as, we want the, how do we call this one, the receipt? Oh, we'll just leave it as label, that's fine. Receipt. Then we can buy the coffee, sure, we'll put that over here. So this is the size. So now with sugars and milks, right, those could be checkboxes because you can have multiple of them, right? So maybe we'll say, this is, we want to have 2% milk, and then we can add another checkbox for whole milk, and maybe we'll add another one for half and half, and then maybe we add another one for soy milk. None of those lined up nice. Let me try. So when you drag them, they should kind of give you some suggestions for lining up here. We can't get that right. Nope. All right, let me grab all of them here, and then I'm going to... Where's my align? Oh my goodness. Align them. Oh, arrange? Oh goodness. Why can I not put them all in the same spot? I just want them all lined up. That's really annoying. That's close enough. I thought there was a way I could grab... Nope. Grab all of them and line them up, but no. They're all going to move together. Why is this not cooperating here? That's okay. All right, so then these all need IDs here. So they need, this is the 2%. Now, it's a variable name here, so I can't start with the number here. So 2% milk. Checkbox. Sure. Why not? And then a whole milk checkbox. Whole milk checkbox. And a half and half checkbox. Half and half checkbox. And a soy milk checkbox. Okay, so we can name all of them, and then I got to name these buttons as well. So this is the small radio button. Here's the medium radio button. Medium. Hope I can spell that right. And then a large radio button. Okay, so now I haven't set up any on actions yet. Right, we want to do something when they're clicked here in a minute. So what we want to do for the size, then we'll say this is the size button clicked here, and I want that same event handler for all of these. I want the size button clicked. I'll just copy paste that for each of these. And then for the milk ones, I want the milk box checked method. I want all of them to do the same thing. So I guess technically you can have all the different milks added if you want. It's not a problem here. It should be okay. And then we still have our buy coffee. All right, so I'm going to save that, and then we're going to come back to IntelliJ, and I'm going to right-click and update controller. Now my controller should have all of these radio buttons and checkboxes and sorts of things. So you see there's checkboxes, there's radio buttons, there's a toggle group. All right, and add all of those for us here. And I have my size button clicked, and I have my milk box checked. So we'll leave Hello World for now. We'll come back to that in a minute. But what I want to do is I want to make a coffee, right? And I want to be able to interact with the coffee. So what I need is the initialize method. We're going to override public void. Was it initialize? Initialize? Isn't that it? It's not that. It's not it. What is it called here? Where'd it go? Initialize. There's something we need to pass here. I'm trying to remember what it is. Fx initialize. There we go. Let's Google that here. Initialize. Nope, that's not it. Here's my passes something. Oh, just initialize? I didn't think it was. No, initialize does. Is it not an override? Okay, so at Fxml initialize. Sure. So not an at override, at Fxml initialize. What does it say? No. I don't want to get rid of it. Oh, because it's never used. Okay, that's fine. Initialize? It'd help if I spelled it right. There we go. That's what it is. Is that, want the override again? No, just add Fxml. All right. So we initialize. So this had a brief description here. The constructor is separate from initializing. So when you have a constructor here, it will still run, but then the initialize happens second. So the important thing with initialize is all of your Fxml stuff is happening when initialize is being run. So anything in the controller, you can't get at anything that is an Fxml item. It doesn't exist. So you need initialize to run so that all of that Fxml stuff is going to happen first. So what I want to do here is I want to make a coffee. So we're going to add, so we've got all of our Fxml stuff here. I'm going to add my own variable here for coffee as a private class level variable. So I'll have a private coffee for the coffee here. So we'll say coffee equals a new coffee. And then what size is it going to be? Well, I want to go and get the size from the size button. So I want the size button. It is, let's see, those are my large radio button, small radio button. So I need to go figure out which size it needs to be here. So let me actually, let me go add another method here. So we'll have a public string for get size, or selected size. We can say if my small radio button dot is checked. No, there's dot checked. Is selected. If it is selected, sorry. If the radio button is selected here, then I'm going to return small. In quotes here, sorry. Return a string for small. If the medium radio button dot is selected, we'll return medium. And if the large radio button dot is selected, we'll return large. Now I guess this could just be an else, right? If it's not small or medium, it's just an else here. Oh, I do want those curly braces. Come back, come back. There we go. So if you pick small, it's a small. If you pick medium, it's medium. Otherwise, it's a large here. So I can say get size selected here for our size. And then we need the cost here. Oh, bummer. So I guess we need to know what the size is here. So let's have this as a separate. So we'll have a string for size is get size selected. And then if we should do this in another method. So public double get cost. That's fine. So we'll ask for the size selected. Here, we'll do it this way. And then if size dot equals ignoring case small, we'll return, what do we want to charge? $1.50 for a small coffee. If it's a medium, let's say it's $2. Oh, we should do $1.99, right? And then otherwise we'll return, must be a large, return $2.49. How about that? Do $1.49. Well, like actual coffee shop prices. That might even be cheap for a coffee shop price, so that's okay. So we can say get cost here. So the coffee then, we'll figure out what size is selected and get the cost, again, based on that size selected. So we can go and figure out what size it is, how much it costs, and then none of the other stuff was checked by default, and that's okay. So then what we want to do is we want to set the label to the coffee.toString. Okay, that should be essentially the receipt of the coffee here. Then when we change the size here, what we need to do is we need to change the size of our coffee, and we need to change the price of it too. That's kind of annoying, isn't it? Maybe the coffee class should know that then. What do you think? Should the coffee class know what the base cost is based on the size? We can do it either way. I think this is fine. This is probably okay. So what we want to do then, we'll come back here to our controller. So when I pick a different size, I'm going to say coffee equals a new coffee, given this size selected and the cost. So we'll pick a new coffee here. So we should now, when we click the size button, be able to figure out what size coffee we're getting. Now we haven't figured out the milk or anything yet. Let's see if this one runs for us here. So I buy the coffee and I see, okay, large coffee, milk, no milk, sugar. Well, it's blank so far, that's all right, for $2.49. Medium, we buy that. It's a medium coffee, $1.99. Small coffee, we buy that. It's $1.49. Large coffee, great, $2.49. It's working out halfway decent so far, right? Not too bad. Yeah, this get cost here is wrong. I'm sorry. This shouldn't happen here. Let me just cut all that out. We don't want to do any of that. That's silly. So I'm going to change my mind here. So we're not going to have coffee with a base cost. We're just going to have coffee with a size. And then when we get base cost, we're going to say if size dot equals small, we'll return $1.49. If it's a medium, so we'll just repeat this. This is where the logic should go, because it's coffee knows how much it costs, not our UI here. Else turn $2.49. Okay, so I like that a little better here. So when we have the size, we can figure this out here, and then we should be able to set the size as well. What do you want? We can just do a couple methods here. So we'll have a public void set size to small. I like that. I like that. So we'll do that instead. So you don't even need to pass a size. We won't even do that. So then we'll say size equals large. We're going to default to large sizes here. This is large coffee. So we'll say size equals small. A public void set size to medium. We'll say size is medium. And a public void set size to large is going to be size equals large. Okay, so this way the coffee class itself will manage all of that for us. So we don't need to do any of this stuff. We can just say, hey, it's a new coffee. Here, this is perfect. You can still get the selected size. That's fantastic. So when we click the size button here then, we can then say, yeah, here we go. This will be easy. We'll forget all of that. So we'll say, hey, if the small radio button is selected, we'll say coffee.setSize to small. We'll tell the coffee, hey, you're a small coffee. If it's medium, we'll set it to medium. Set size to medium. Otherwise, coffee, set size to large. Coffee, set size to large. And you know, we could even, just in case we wanted, we could add in more. So these should be else ifs here then. Else if my large coffee radio button is selected, just in case we add some more buttons later. This will keep it all consistent. So now when you click the size button, we're just going to change the coffee here using those methods of coffee. So we're telling the coffee class, hey, I want you to be a small, I want you to be a medium, I want you to be a large, by the way. Here. And we can do a similar thing for our milk box checked now. So when the milk box gets checked, we can say, hey, if the 2% milk box dot is selected, say coffee dot add milk. Oh, we only have regular milk and whole milk, don't we? Let's see. So maybe we need to add I only have milk and soy milk. Uh-oh. Maybe we need a way to tell them what kind of milk we want. Or should we say add 2% milk? This is 2% milk. And then should we add something here? Or do we want it to go back to no milk? This one's a little tricky here, how we want to interact with this one. So we can say, hey, we set it here, but then really you only get one at a time. Should we change those milks to, maybe the milks should be radio buttons then instead of checkboxes? Because I don't know if you're actually going to put in different kinds of milks. Let's do that. Let's change them to radio buttons here. So I don't actually have to change any of those because that seems like it might be a pain in the UI here. So what I'm going to do is change them to radio buttons here. Oh, they're not checkboxes either. Shoot. Radio button. Okay, that's all right. I can change it in the Fxml here, and it works out pretty well. And then we also need to give them a group then, right? They get a toggle group. Here then we'll say is milk. So this is a milk toggle group. Notice it has that $sign, so it's going to add a milk toggle group item here in a minute for us. Okay, so we'll go update those to radio buttons, and then let's go say update our controller. And our controller then should have fixed those up now to be radio buttons. Okay. So then we can say, okay, if our 2% milk radio button dot is selected, we'll say coffee dot set 2% milk. 2%, add 2% milk. Else if my whole milk radio button is selected, coffee dot, oh, we need that in the coffee then, right? We need an add whole milk, 2% whole milk. Add whole milk. Soy milk, we also need a half and half, right? Add half and half. Half and half. Half. Soy milk, okay. Cool, cool, cool. We got all those there. So if the whole milk radio button is selected, coffee dot add whole milk. Coffee. Add whole milk. Else if my half and half radio button is selected, we'll say coffee dot add whole, half and half. Else if my soy milk radio button is selected, coffee dot add soy milk. Otherwise, right? Else if none of those are selected, then I'm going to say coffee dot. Probably I need a radio button then for no milk, because you can't uncheck a radio button. That's kind of unfortunate. Let's go add a no milk option then. It's actually, oh, there we go. Okay, here it is. Now it went back to radio buttons, so it fixed it for us. So let's add one more radio button here for no milk. This is milk box checked. I guess it's not a box. That's okay. Okay, this is no milk. We can give it no milk, and we need to set the toggle group to the milk toggle group, and we'll start that one as selected. So we can even do an else if then, right? If our no milk, oops, we got to go update the controller. Update our controller. No milk. Oh, did we not name it? We didn't name it, did we? No milk needs an FX ID. Here we go. So a no milk radio button. There we go. Now we can go and update the controller. And now we should have a no milk radio button is selected. We'll say coffee dot set no milk. All right. Whew. Oh, that should be a parenthesis there, not a curly brace. So our milk boxes then. Right. So coffee, size, and milk. We have to do sugar still a little bit. Let's figure out what sugars we want. We're going to set the coffee, and then what we could do, might actually be nice here, is instead of having to wait for this button to be clicked, right, we could just have a method, so public void update coffee label, receipt or something, right, can do this thing, and we can just call update coffee receipt. But then we can also update our coffee receipt with the defaults. when we initialize. So by default, you'll get the large an Fxml JavaFX application. Smrda counter. So now we get our large coffee, no milk, no cream. Uh-oh, it's $0. We messed that up. 50 cents. Oh, we never did a base cost. That's why. So then in coffee, for get total cost. That's right. That's what we never finished. We can get the milk cost. We get the total cost. We need a base cost. We never did base cost, right? We kind of got rid of that. So we need a way to get the base cost. Oh, here it is. Here it is. So we, instead of using a base cost variable, we just want to calculate it on the fly. We're going to get rid of the variable for it here, and then we will calculate get base cost plus the milk cost. We can say, okay, based on the size, then what is it here? So it should be, there we go, $2.49 for large, we go to medium, $1.99, small, $1.49. Now, it's kind of annoying to have to click that button every time, right? So it would be nice then if we could also take our update receipt and do that every time. So when you check a box, we'll update the receipt. When you check a box, we'll update the receipt. So as I pick it, it's going to show me on the screen here then what I'm getting and how much it's going to cost. I've had a lot of coffee today, friends. So small, large, right? 2% whole milk, half and half, no milk. It's going to look a little different depending on what mobile development you do, but JavaFX is a similar thing, similar kind of idea for when you do Android development. Same kind of idea. Okay, so we can go and figure out our receipt then anytime we click it. Now, something's not quite the same, right? Because we never set no milk. So we want no milk is blank, but it defaults as no milk here. So maybe we set no milk to no milk. There we go. We haven't done the sugars yet. We'll get to that in a little bit. Okay. Oh, back here. Sorry. Okay, there we go. Milk, no milk, medium, small, medium, large. So the soy milk costs a little bit more money each time. Right, the other milks are free. Large with soy milk, right? $2.99, on and on and on and on. So it works out not too bad, right? I don't know if I like the new line there, but that's okay. Yeah, I think I want to get rid of that new line. We'll just add like a space here instead of a new line. Now, all the logic in coffee is handled in the coffee class. Right? The only thing the UI does is call a bunch of options. So we tell it, hey, call this method, call this public method, call this public method here. And then to get the results back out, we just get whatever the toString is or any sort of attributes we want particularly out of it. We can get individual attributes out as we go. So this is our little coffee shop here. How you folks feeling about this so far? So for sugars, we'll go back to checkboxes for sugars. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe we will. Then we have to add sugars, or maybe have none selected. Just kind of depends. So maybe if we were like building out a Subway sandwich, checkboxes might be nice. Hey, I want tomatoes, I want green peppers, I want onions, right? Ooh, I really want Subway now. Kind of hungry. I didn't have dinner yet is why. That's the problem. I think I got my coffee though, so I'm good. I got my other cup of coffee here. Yeah, you can make these projects in Kotlin. When you make the project, it gives you an option for what language you want to use. Similar idea. Yep. I don't have Android Studio installed anymore. I haven't done Android development in a little while, so it's not installed. Tried to prune a little bit of what was on my computer at the moment. Yeah, a lot of it's a similar approach, similar sort of thing. Okay, give that a little sort real quick, or organize, and we're good for right now. Let me go commit this to GitHub here for our first version of the coffee shop. So this will be for 1500 for Tuesday nights. This is coffee shop V1. All right, and then while we take a little break, before we jump into the next portion of it here, that sound like a good plan, folks? We'll put some more music on, and we'll take a break. We'll come back in about 10 minutes or so. You can go get your coffee, refill, whatever you need, and then we'll pick it back up and finish out adding our sugar, and then doing a couple other modifications here. Okay? All right, sounds good? I'll put this out to, what is that, 7:03 p.m., I think, Eastern. All right, sounds good. See you in a couple minutes, folks. Hey everybody, welcome on back. Hope you got your coffee. All right. So we got to finish up adding some sugar here to our UI. So we got to figure out how we want to do sugar and how we want to count the sugars really. Like, do you want, we probably don't want checkboxes for like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's some other options we can use here, which might be fun. We could do radio buttons like 1 sugar, 2 sugar, 3 sugar, 4 sugar. That's, you know, that could work. And really for milks too, if I recall right, lemon, yeah, coffee. You can order like, hey, I want 2 amounts of it. I don't know. My pastor said his favorite drink is the triple, and that's just way too much sugar and way too much milk for coffee for me. But that's what he likes. He gets the large triple, and I drink coffee black, so I don't know much about the cream and sugar thing. But we probably need ways that they can do this. So one way we can do it here could be a slider. Sliders are a lot of fun here. So we can add a slider, either horizontal or vertical. Either one you want to use. I'm going to do a horizontal slider here. And what you do with sliders is you tell them what is the min and what is the max. So maybe 5 is our max here. And then our major unit should be 1. And minor is, we'll just get rid of here. We want to snap the ticks. So we want it to snap to the, we need to show the tick marks and labels, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, so this will be how much milk we're adding here then. And so if we need to add an amount of milk, we need a way to do that, right? Either our coffee class needs to track that, if its job is to track that sort of thing. Right, 5 whole milks, I don't really know exactly what we want to do here, but we can figure something out. We can make this work. 3 shots of espresso, 4 sugars, 3 creams as a French vanilla. Oh my goodness. I'm down with the espresso here, but 4 sugars and 3 creams? My goodness. I mean, I guess a regular, like, what is it, a latte or a cappuccino is shots with the milk, but it's not French vanilla cream and it's not sugar, right? It's just the steamed milk. So you're still getting some sugar there because milk has the natural sugars, but it's not quite as much. All right, so let's see if we're doing this slider thing here. So maybe we have a milk multiple, right? Or milk servings, maybe? So maybe a private int for milk servings here. So then we can say my milk servings starts off at 0, right? And then we can set milks here. We probably need to know the servings then, right? So we need an int for servings here. So if you tell me how many servings you're adding here, I can go add that soy milk. Add the half and half, add the whole milk, add the 2%. So no milk, it should set our milk servings to 0, right? Because you're not adding any. We should leave it at 0, and then we'll take our milk servings equals the servings. Oops, servings here. Each of the, oh, I got too many parentheses in my copy paste. Bummer. Bummer. We'll add in the servings here for each of those so we know how many milk servings we're getting. Okay. So then in our controller, then we need a way to get that correct number. So we need to ask the slider what the value is. So probably the first thing we should do is we should say, hey, if the, oh, we didn't give it a name or anything yet. Hang on. I'll come back to our slider here. So it needs a FX ID so we can reference it here. This is our milk serving slider. Okay, milk serving slider. Then we'll go and update our controller so that it exists in the controller. So we'll go and update our controller. Now we should have that slider in here, our milk serving slider. We can say, okay, if the milk serving slider, and then we want to, what is the method here? Get value. Oh, bummer, these are doubles, but that's okay. You have one that's an int? That's all right, we can just turn it into a, so they're made to work with doubles here. So if that value is 0, then we'll say coffee.setNoMilk here. Right, if it's 0, right? It's got to be nothing here. I don't care what's checked here. Your slider's at 0. And we can go fix that up in a little bit here. We can make all that work. Otherwise, then we'll pass all these in here. Now the problem is it doesn't like that we've given it a double and it wants an int. So it might be easier to change those to be doubles here. So let's just change all those to be doubles. Make life just a little easier for us. It doesn't matter too much one way or the other, because we know we're only giving it whole values, but it's okay. We'll change those to be doubles. Okay, so now we can just pass it some doubles here, and you have a no milk, right? So if the serving is 0, really, or this one, right, or no milk is selected, we'll set no milk. Okay, so it's going to change that value here, right, based on what it is. Now the problem is the slider is not going to be linked though, right? As I change the slider, it's not going to update my receipt. So if I say half and half, it still says no milk, but now if I drag it to 1 and I say whole milk, now I get whole milk, right? Soy milk. So we probably need to add in that number there too, right? So our milk in our coffee toString here. So milk, we probably want the milk servings 3, I don't know, plus string plus milk. Does that look better maybe? So 0.0 no milk, 2 half and half, 2 whole milk, 4 soy milk, 4 whole milk, 4 soy milk, 0 no milk, 0 no. I guess 0 no milk's a little bit fun. We could clean that up later if we wanted to, but that's probably okay. Now I think at this point we could probably get rid of the milk here because we're saying exactly what it is and how much of all of it. Right, so we'll change our slider here. Now we get 4 whole milk, whatever, half and half, sugar, all that good stuff here. So it seems to be changing okay, but what's not changing is when we do the slider. So we need a way for the slider to also have that change. So let's come to the Fxml here. Now the problem is there's a couple options, and this one gets a little funny here because none of these really are what we want here. These get kind of messy. There's no zoom, there's no touch, there's no swiping, there's no rotation. I mean, mouse you could sort of use, but it's not going to do exactly what we want here. So what we need to do instead is we need to, is it on drag detected? Maybe on drag. It's not one of these ones here. Hang on. What is the JavaFX slider listener? What is this one called? What's this first hit here? Is this one it? Slider. Oh, we don't want to do this. No, that's too annoying here. We don't want to do any of that. So we'll just set it. We'll try the on drag exited here. We'll say the milk slider slid. I don't know. We'll just call it milk slider exited, I guess. Milk slider exited here, and see if we can now update our controller and get a new method here for the milk slider exited, given some event here. So I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to just grab, so I want to take all of this code here, and really we want to do this either time either the milk changes or the milk box is checked here. So I'm going to right click this and say we want to refactor, introduce extract as a method here. This is my milk, I don't know, update milk. How about that? We'll say update milk. So either the milk box is checked will update the milk, or the slider is exited will update the milk. Let's give that a shot. So we go to 2% and then update our slider. Oh, no, it's not firing the drag exited. Why is that not going? it a different event? I don't think it's the drag and drop one. That's what it is. Shoot. We want... Is it on scroll? Don't remember which event it is here. Hang on, let's Google that real quick. Come back. You don't want to do this. No. We want the easy thing. Where's the easy thing? JavaFX ML slider. That's probably not it. Not that one. On mouse released? Maybe? Alright, this is trickier than I thought it would be. This one. Alright, how about on mouse released? Try the slider, milk slider exited. Because we already have that method there. We'll try that. See if that works any better. We'll go update, controller. It should be the same thing. It's the same event there, I think. See if that works any better here. There it goes. Okay, so on mouse exited seems like what we really wanted there. So let me go back and fix that one up. So we'll go and get rid of that other on drag exited there. That's fine. And then I kind of want to change the name. Is that okay? So this is milk slider mouse released. Just to keep it kind of straight and we know which one it is happening here. So we'll go back and update the Fxml. And all we need, so this one's marked as deprecated, right? It doesn't exist anymore, it's not used. We want to just move that in here, we can get rid of that one. So we'll update our milk. Okay, so now we should be able to run our program, and we should be able to do our slider for how much milk we want. So half and half, slide it over, slide, 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 slide. Looking great so far. Now, the last thing I want, that when we pick no milk, we should probably go back to 0. Right, because I think that makes the most sense. And if we get to 0, we should set it to no milk. So those should be tied to each other, I think. So how about we say on our milk updated here. So if either of those is true, then I'm going to take my milk serving slider. Can I set value to 0? And I'll say my no milk radio button dot select. Set selected to true. So we're going to force those to happen if either of them happen. Right? So if I go pick no milk, I want the slider to go back to 0. And if I pick 0 on the slider, I want the no milk button to be checked here. So notice I can't check the other ones here. It's not working until I move the slider over. Uh-oh. Now it's broken though. Because they're updating it at the same time. It's not letting me change it. All right, we did a bad thing. So if I can't change this here, it's getting set back to 0 as soon as we try and change it because we don't have any milk selected. And I can't pick the milks because the slider's at 0. All right, it was a good idea, but it doesn't work. Doesn't work. Forget that then. That's too tricky for us. We're trying to be too clever. Okay. And we can add in our shots here as we go. So I think another thing I want to do here is change that in coffee. I want to make this milk servings as an int here. That'll help format that a little bit nicer here. I don't want to get rid of the 0. I mean, you guess you could have 1.5 things of milk, but that's probably trickier. So there. Now 3 half and half, 2 half and half, whatever. 5 soy milk. Right, let us add it all in here. 0 no milks. We didn't do sugar yet. We can get to sugars. All right. So what do we want to do for sugar? What do we want to have listed here for sugars? How do we want to do that? Do you want different kinds of sugars? Like, I guess you can have any of them, really. So we'll do the checkboxes for sugars here because you can mix and match if you're so crazy. We'll do a sugar. We'll do a like sugar-free sugar. I don't know. How about this is this will be a sugar checkbox, and on action we'll say sugar box checked here, and then this one will be the sugar-free sugar checkbox. And we want the sugar checkbox checked. Oh my goodness, I forgot what I called it already. Sugar box checked. There we go. Okay, we'll have both of those, and we got to change this here to sugar, and this one here to sugar-free sugar. Oops, put that one back. Sugar-free sugar. Now that should be in quotes, right? Sugar. Artificial sweetener. It's not actual sugar here. All right, so we'll save those. We'll come back to our controller. We'll make a controller. Update controller here. So now we need a way to interact with the sugar here then. So we have a set sugar and a get sugar, set sugar. Okay. So when that changes here then, when our sugar box is checked, we can say if the sugar checkbox that is selected, we'll say coffee.setSugar to with sugar. And then else if my sugar-free checkbox is selected, we'll say coffee.setSugar with sugar-free sugar. Else coffee.setSugar no sugar. Now really either of those could happen at the same time, right? So I guess we need some different options here. So if this one is selected or this one is selected, how about that? Then we'll have the else. So if either is selected, we'll say now it's either with sugar and sugar-free sugar, I guess. So then we'll have a string for sugar here. Starts off as blank, and then if my sugar checkbox is selected, we'll say sugar plus equals with sugar. And then if the sugar-free checkbox is selected, take our sugar plus equals the with sugar-free sugar. And I'm going to put some spaces here just to, I don't know, maybe make that a little bit nicer here. Sugar and sugar. And then when that's all done, we'll take our coffee.setSugar to the sugar string we just made. What do you think? So with sugar, with sugar-free sugar, I guess, and, I don't know. You can get all sorts of crazy here, because I want, if it's just this one here, I don't want it to say and here. I just want it to say with, I don't know. The English will be a little funny on this, but that's okay. We could always come back and clean that up later. We got choices. So then we can have our sugar checkbox, then our coffee here then. Oh, creature collector, yeah, I haven't had a chance to update anything. It's been a day. Tuesdays I have 4 classes in a row, so Tuesdays are a little nuts here. So then sugar should actually be saying whether or not we have any sugar here. So I don't think we need that. And then, because we're going to have sugar or no sugar. Yeah, it's won't be doing that again now that I can do the schedule a little better here. With no sugar. How do we do that? Let's see how that looks here. So we can have some sugar checkboxes. So no milk. Uh-oh, we don't have the no sugar. So we need with no sugar to be the default in coffee here. So sugar should be with no sugar to be the same thing here. Let's try that. Okay, so 0, no milk. Oh goodness, that's ugly too, but that's okay. Now if we check sugar, oh, we forgot to add our update coffee receipt. We always got to update the coffee receipt here when we check the sugar box. Excuse me. Okay, so I check sugar and we get with sugar and with sugar-free sugar. Just with sugar-free sugar. With no sugar. Sugar has lost all meaning. Sugar, I can't spell. That's ER, isn't it? Oh my goodness. Is that really sugar? Is that how it's spelled? Fine. Sugar? AR? You want ER? Sugar? Oh, it is AR, right? Yeah, okay, it is AR. I thought it was ER for a minute there, and now I'm super confused. It just looked funny. All right, so I think our coffee ordering is almost done here, right? So we can set individual orders here. Now, what if we want to buy more than one, though? Could we do that? I think we could. So I'm going to change that buy coffee button to say add coffee to order. To order here. And I'm going to add one more button here for checkout. Now checkout's not actually going to do anything yet, but that's okay. We'll get to it. So the add coffee to order, then we should say is add coffee to order button clicked. Okay, we'll go update our controller. Now we'll see our button clicked method is gone here. We don't need that one anymore. And we should have a new one here for add coffee to order. So what I could do then is our class here could have a array list of type coffee for the order. And we initialize, this is essentially the constructor. Oh my goodness, no. How's that deprecated? Fxml, isn't it? Is it not at Fxml? Do I not even need to add that tag? Essentially the constructor, but runs after Fxml stuff is set up. So this one's the better one to use for our constructor. Constructor, there we go. So then I can say my order equals new array list here and set that up. And then what I can do when I go and add my coffee to the order, I can say my order.add coffee, and then I can reset everything. So then I'll say coffee equals a new coffee here if I wanted, or I can just leave it as is maybe. I think we want to reset it. So we'll say coffee equals a new coffee, and then I want to reset all of my checkboxes here, not coffee. So I'm going to add that current instance of coffee, and I'm going to make a new instance of coffee here. And then I need to go reset all of those things. So I want to say, I want to uncheck all the sugar boxes, dot set selected to false. My sugar free, set selected to false. I'm going to say my large radio buttons, set selected to true. And the no milk radio button set selected to true as well. So we'll reset the buttons essentially to go with this new coffee. So it should match here. Then what I want to do, so when I update my coffee receipt here, where's my update coffee receipt method? This one here. I want to say, here's my string for receipt. It starts off as blank, and I want to say for coffee in the order here. Can I do coffee here? We'll take our receipt, and we're going to add to it. So we'll say plus equals coffee toString plus a new line. So we'll add that coffee to the order, and then we'll set our label set text to the receipt. So for every coffee in the order, let's go add it here. I don't know if I want to do that. I guess I can. So it's going to hide this coffee, but it should be okay, I think. I don't know. I'm going to change coffee in order. Here we go. We'll say for every coffee in order. We'll do that. So I should be able to add a bunch of coffees to my order here. Set that receipt. Now I probably, oh goodness, ooh, this order is null. Where's that happening? I'm out of order somewhere. I'm out of order. Hello controller, initialize. Oh, we tried to update the receipt before the array list here. So yep, the array list was null because it didn't happen yet. So we have to update the receipt after we do that one here. Now the problem is this is the current, this is the total receipt, not the current coffee we're building here. So we might actually want two different labels here. Or maybe we just add that on at the end. I'm not really sure. I don't know. Okay, let's do this. Let's have here, so we want, let's have an int for drink count. It starts at 1. We'll take a receipt, and then we'll add in drink number plus the drink count plus the coffee in order to string here. And then we'll take our drink count plus plus. We'll increase that drink count. So we're going to show them, hey, this is drink number 1, drink number 2, drink number 3. And then we're also going to take that receipt and we're going to add to it here, plus equals the, I don't know, current drink you're ordering. I don't know, drink you are ordering plus the coffee.toString. Because that way we're going to get the coffee we're working on, but then this is the drink in the order. I don't know if that makes any sense. We'll try it. UIs are hard. There's so many options when you're building out a user interface. It can get tricky, for sure. And there's no right way necessarily. Oops. So that label needs to move over a little bit because these things are getting long here. So I'm going to move that over here. How about that? Give that a save, and then we can rerun this. Okay, so drink you're ordering. Large coffee, medium coffee, whatever it is. No milks, no sugars, soy milks, anything we want. Sure, and then we'll add that coffee to the order. Now I get drink number 1. Oh, we should add another space there. Oops, I didn't update the label though. So once we do that then, right, we add it here. Then we need to update the coffee receipt. Once we do that one, drink number, like a space there, plus another space in here. Okay, let's try that. So it probably might make sense to have a different label for this drink we're ordering here, right? Because I don't know if you always want that at the bottom once we add a coffee to the order, right? That it gets a little confusing, right? Large coffee, soy milk, sugar, right? Not sure we want that one there. All right, drink number 1, number 2, number 3. So let's change this. Let's add another label here. So this will be the receipt, and this will be, maybe we'll add another spot for the current drink. So let's add another label here. A label. So I'm going to change this ID to the current drink label. And then we'll change the text to, I don't know, it's fine. It probably doesn't need to be anything there. It can be blank. And then receipt can also be blank because we're going to go set that in a minute here. Okay, so then we'll go and update our controller. So this is actually, we should rename that one, but that's okay. So the drink you're ordering then is going to be a different one. So this will be my current drink label, set text to the coffee toString. And then we can set the receipt total here this way. So this is drinks in order. Drinks in order. And probably a new line. So the current drink that we're customizing here and have here, then we can add it to the order. Now we probably also need a grand total, right? We probably want that. So we're going to have a double for grand total equals 0. And as we add drinks here, we're going to take the grand total plus to it the coffee in the order dot get total cost, add it there, and then when we're done, then in our receipt here, so we should update this one first, and then we'll take our receipt, we'll add to it a grand total plus the grand total, then we can set that one. So now we get total 0 here, so we can start customizing our drink here. We can add the drink to the order. Now we have that in the order. We'll get a medium with half and half, sugar-free, add that one to the order. We'll get a small with whole milk with regular sugar. We'll add that one to the order. We'll get small with 3 whole milks. Sure, why not? And we see our grand total. And this gets a little funny here. We probably want to do some better rounding, but we can worry about that after. And just take that as a to-do. We can see all of those work. And then checkout, again, we should do something at some point. Be like, hey, pay me, please. And then I can reset everything here. Clear it all out. So essentially making a quick little point of sale system for our little coffee shop here. Oh, this mug's empty. I got my blue mug over here, though. Don't worry. Got more coffee. There's more coffee. You folks with me so far? So see, this is really an iterative process, kind of working through all this stuff. Now, the coffee class has nothing to do with the grand total and the receipt, right? We're just getting the total cost. We're getting this description out. This is all what we're showing the UI here. Now, our controller has the order. We could add a class for order if we wanted. That might be going a little crazy here because it would just be an array list of coffees and that's all it would have. But we could if we wanted to, depending on what sort of logic we wanted to add here. You might not want an order here in a different kind of system, right? A web application, you might not want an order, or a console-based application, you might not want to have an order class. So it might make sense to just be here. But the coffee class, right? This class here itself, with all these set methods, I can use anywhere I want, whether or not it's a console application or a graphical user interface application or a mobile application or web application. The Java code itself stays the same. And that's the idea, right? None of our methods have anything to do with system out print line. All they do, if you need to give it a value, it takes an argument, right? None of it prints anything out. It will return values that can be used other places. That's kind of how we're separating our concerns there. All right, so this is, oh, I have 2 here. What happened? Oh, that's in the target window. That's weird. Why do I have the target? I don't know what's up with that. That's okay. So this is now coffee shop B2. Okay, so we got that code out there. So as we're working on that final project here, making our bad adventure game, right? This idea that we need to have all of these classes for things that have all the logic separate from the UI, right? So our bad adventure game, a 2D array list or array of rooms, about 10 by 10 or so, with whether or not we can travel there or not. We'll look at how we can turn buttons on and off later. We haven't done that one today. A class for room. The room has its location. It knows whether or not it's blocked. It knows if it has an NPC and how much gold is in it. The player class has attributes, so we set some labels. We can ask, hey, player class, give me your labels. Give me yourself as a string, essentially. We can add a string method there if we wanted, or get them individually if you wanted. Our NPC class, ways we can fight or run from them, ways we can sleep in the room or search for gold, stats for non-player characters, we need a place to store that, our buttons for different actions here we can turn on and off, and it just runs forever until the player dies. So for the rubric, here you get points for designing it, right? Using a 2D array list of type room for your maze, using a room class, using a player class, the NPC class. Now this isn't just you have a class for player, like that the class for player has the correct things here, right? So it's not just, hey, I have a class player, I get 5 points, right? It has the correct things here as part of those 5 points. And then the functions, the functionality, actually being able to use the game. Searching a room is 5 points, sleeping in a room is 5 points. Remember, when you search the room, you check if you roll your 20-sided value. If it's less than your intelligence, you find the gold in the room. If you sleep in the room, there's a 1 in 6 chance a new NPC shows up and starts attacking you, and then you get to start fighting all over again. When you're done sleeping, you regain all of your hit points. You can run away. If an NPC is there, you can run away from them. They get to roll a 20-sided die. If they roll less than their intelligence, they saw us. Now, to run away, you can go anywhere you want. You can make it go back to a room. You get to make it be a random direction. You can say which way do you want to pick, like run up, run down, run left, run right, that sort of thing. Totally up to you, however you want to make that work. And then the fighting here, where you get to roll, if you roll greater than the dexterity you hit, they take your strength divided by 3. And then if the monster's still alive, they get to attack us. Same rules, but they do at least 1 damage here. This divided by 3, remember, with integer division, if their strength is only 1 or 2, here, then it probably wouldn't have done any damage. So at least a 1 point of damage here for the monsters when they attack us, for those small ones. And that's the 40 points. There's a little JavaFX application here for our game. So we're going to present those April 26th. that's in 3 weeks from tonight now, to the rest of the class. You'll just play your game, show that each of those things work. I might ask a question or two about the code, and we'll call it a night. So it's usually a lot of fun, and everyone designs it a little bit differently. They lay out their buttons a little bit differently. I'll show one idea for it. I don't know. I guess it's fine to do that, but then once I show an idea, almost everyone does it that way, and then I feel a little bad because there's so many different ways you could have all these buttons and layouts and sort of things. It doesn't have to happen one specific way, but there's lots of options, so we can work through that. So I'm going to work the rest of tonight on getting your midterms graded and then start on the projects and labs for you. Again, sorry for being so delayed. It's been a rough semester, friends. It's been real rough, so I appreciate you bearing with me there. And if there's anything I can do for you folks, do let me know. For sure, Razzle Dazzle. I had somebody, last semester, I think, added some graphics and things. So when a monster showed up, they had different pictures that they would show. We can look at pictures next week as well. When we start talking more about supplemental JavaFX stuff. You can do images. I think he even had some sounds play or something. There's all sorts of fun things you can add in. But, start with the core functionality first and then add as much stuff as you want for fun. So if you'd like to work in pairs, let me know. I can give both partners access to the same repository, so you can both commit and push and pull code from the same repository to stay in sync. It's ever so slightly tricky if you don't coordinate well. So you just want to make sure before you start that you're going to get the latest and greatest version, and then you can make changes to it and you're good. If you run into issues, I'm happy to help get you pointed in the right direction. So I think we should be good for now. We can take the rest of the night to get started on some of this. Do you want another lab on JavaFX, or are you fine with labs as they are now that we have the final project to work on? I don't want to add more busy work, right? The idea with the labs, it was like a quick little practice, kind of repeat some of the stuff we did in class, small style, and the projects were the bigger things where you have to go out and figure a couple things out. What do you think? I'm open to either. Okay, no votes, that's okay. No worries one way or the other. So if you're having trouble with JavaFX, let me know. Now that the last project's out of the way, hopefully we can chat. If you're having any issues, hop on a screen share, make sure that gets up and running for you. Again, it works in NetBeans. You just have to do a couple extra steps. In IntelliJ, again, we had a couple steps too for changing out that VBox to an anchor pane, but it wasn't too bad most of the time. It goes relatively quickly there. Excuse me. All right, any other questions, thoughts, or concerns? I should remind you, you can still apply for the Summer Momentum Scholarship. Summer enrollment is open for courses. Apparently online classes are popular. We had to add a new 1500 course that was fully online, asynchronous here, because the other one's filled up. And then fall registration is also open if you want to plan out your fall as well. So we've got registration open for summer and fall, which is kind of crazy, but that's it's cool. So, I mean, why not once we have the schedule? So, all right, friends, it's been fun. Let me see if there's anyone around in Twitch land. Here, let me put on my ending screen here. Our friend Hermit's not around yet. Ruckland Hermit, that we usually go and raid on Tuesday nights. But he'll be on at 8 p.m. or so. What do we want to go check out? Ooh, Microsoft is doing the Reactor Code Lab. That might be fun. Microsoft developer. Or Rob is working on stuff maybe in Go, not sure. Or is it people doing games? Boyd is doing some crafting. Paleontologizing is on if you want to talk about dinosaurs. We got lots of options for where to go. Or there's always chess. We can always watch chess. Lots of people. Or we've got a friend who is a game designer by trade. She has a game that she worked with her team published in Steam, which is pretty cool, but now she's a full-time content creator, does the game stuff on the side. What do you folks think? Games, crafting, chess, programming? Go check out Rob. It might be fun. RWX Rob. We'll head over that way, have some fun. Folks, take care, and I will see you around. Thanks, everybody.